So this whole last holiday season, I didn't let out one Merry Christmas. That's true. Instead, I said, may the birth of the one and only true God Jesus Christ bestow a blessing of grace and peace upon your household to the belittlement of every other false religion. Lest you be gay. That's what I say.
I want to do that, like, unironically. Like, unironically, I'm just going to start greeting people during the Christmas season like that. Oh, man. Dude, what are we going to do tonight? We're so conflicted. Listen, I have like 7 stories of bishops saying different things, and then somebody goes and tries to whack Nick Fuentes. Like,
and if there's one thing we cannot
resist
on this show, it is a good
Fuentes shot
slash murder slash.
Listen, the thing is, all right, well, first let's get promos out. Everybody, please hit like and subscribe. Our subscribers are still down. I don't know why. We were doing so good for so long, and then I don't know. I don't care.
Then people, I guess, got
they just figured out we say the same thing every episode.
Yeah, right.
I heard this joke already.
We just became a known quantity, is what happened.
You believe Nicole had the nerve to tell me that show last night, the show on Tuesday night was boring? She's like, I thought it would be more exciting. I'm like, this is why you're not allowed to watch my show. Like, her critiques are like,
to be fair,
it's pretty boring, right?
To be honest, like, I can only live vicariously through your trip to Italy, like, so much, bud.
Well, that's why we said one episode, we get it out. Like,
yeah, we got it out.
We get it out in one episode, and we do it. That's it. It's a wrap. Listen, I'll tell you.
What if the USCCB hired that guy?
That is true. You know what? Man, should we just scrap the?
I think so, because one, church drama does suck. 2, it's all old church. It's like a week old at this point. You were just in Italy.
I might try and talk her into doing something. I gotta see. I don't know. I gotta see. Maybe I'll get her on here. Okay, so yeah, everybody hit like and subscribe. Also, oh man, is she listening? She just texted me. She might have heard that.
Oh no. Are you okay?
I don't know if she heard me or she's watching.
I mean, you talk loud enough where she definitely could have heard you.
I am pretty loud.
See, people.
All right, I guess we're scrapping it. We'll change the thumbnail. Oh, man,
I already have the thumbnail made.
That is true. Man. So, all right. The other thing is, we got these fancy Yeti cups, which I love this thing, dude. I take it to work every day with me.
I want it
home, and I wash it off, and I put my tea in it for the show. It's an amazing Yeti cup. Keeps my coffee hot all day.
For the record, for legal purposes, it is not a Yeti.
It's not a Yeti, but you know what I mean. It's a Yeti. I mean, you guys know what it is.
Your lawyer's worst nightmare.
It's a really good. It's a really good coffee cup. Okay, so I guess we're changing. Oh man, you guys, for the newbies, we do this a lot. I'm sorry. We do.
Hold on. What was one of the first comments tonight? Let's see here. This one. Good evening, everyone. Should we place bets on how long the lead will remain buried? Well, you all lose. You all lose because we won't get to it at all.
Okay. Well, the thing is, also, I have to get up early in the morning, so I don't.
I've been up since 2:30 a.m. So if we could keep it shorter.
Yeah, it's just. But we're doing a show Monday. On Monday, so we weren't going to do a Tuesday show because
I'm excited for the Monday show.
Yeah, so we weren't going to do a show Tuesday because it's Christmas Eve. So instead, should we read his tweet?
Maybe towards the end.
Okay, so all right, so we're going to
tease next Monday show.
Yeah, we're going to interview a guy who we were supposed to have
stood us up once already.
Stood us up. But he has an amazing story, and
it's
he wrote a
very
tweet,
unique.
very unique. And he wrote a tweet today talking about how his ex got an abortion without telling him. Like he thought he was marrying this girl. They were engaged to be married, and she just ended it and ended the pregnancy too. And he just talks about some of the heartache that he went through, and like he wanted to unalive himself from it. So
yes,
the homeless guy with the bike who got the flat tire. But like the more I hear from this guy, the more interested I am in him. And I was gonna just blow it off. And when I saw that tweet today, I just texted him today, and I'm like, listen, let's figure this thing out, because I want to dig into that story, and I kind of want to just hear from this guy. And he just seems like he's going to be an interesting interview. Yeah, it's the homeless guy. All right. So
thank you, Michael. I will try to do that. We will forget, but I will try.
Here's why the Fuentes thing is so interesting to me, because first off, I don't think
should we. Some people, one, don't know who he is, two, don't know what happened. So maybe we should.
Okay. Yeah, let's give a little backstory. So Nick Fuentes, you actually
his tweet.
Yeah, let's pull up his tweet.
So we'll go through this, and then we do have the actual police report too.
Okay, so last night, an armed killer made an attempt on my life at my home, which was recently doxed on this platform. So somebody on X doxed him, right? The gunman carried a pistol, crossbow, and incendiary device. I believe he intended to kill me. He is now dead. I am okay. So when he first put this out, everybody was like, this can't be real, right? Because 2 weeks ago, some crazy chick went to his
old blue-haired lady. Yeah,
went to his house, and he pepper sprayed her. So there was police video, body cam footage that just came out that he was getting arrested, or at least they were questioning him and stuff. So like, I didn't know if this was related to that or what the hell was going on.
And then like this tweet, it's like, he is now dead. I'm okay. It's like, you're gonna end with it. Like, did you kill him? How is he dead?
Yeah, and look how long between tweets. It was like 59 minutes ago, then 46 minutes. Like,
yeah,
it was like 13 minutes before
now I'm like, yeah, he was probably shook up. Like, no one.
That's true. Yeah, he's now dead. I am okay. So let's scroll up.
Crossbow. Did Blade try to kill him?
Yo, wait till you guys see the
Snipes,
video. There's video to this. Like, this is not nothing. So according to police, the would-be assassin committed a triple homicide in southern Illinois early. So this guy killed 3 people yesterday before he arrived at my doorstep.
It looks like his sister and parents.
With his pistol drawn, calling my name. I'm grateful to God that I'm still alive today. Tragically, the gunman broke into a neighbor's home to evade police and killed their 2 dogs. While heartbreaking, it could have been so unimaginably worse. God have mercy. Doxing is not a game. The nihilistic lynch mob behavior must end before anyone else is killed.
No, we'll get to that last sentence eventually.
Yeah,
I got a lot to say about that last sentence.
Yeah.
But let me go to the police report, because this does look like completely legit. It really does.
Yeah, it's not so alleged. I'm having a hard time reading that. You want to read that, Rob?
Yeah. So this is from the Berwyn Police Department. Illinois State Police investigate fatal shooting in Berwyn near the 1800 block of Home Avenue. So if he wasn't doxxed, he sure as the heck is now.
Yeah, right.
But on December 18th, so that's yesterday, last night, at approximately 11:38 p.m., Berwyn police officers responded to the 1800 block of Home Avenue for a report of a male subject with a gun. Responding officers located said subject, who then fled on foot and successfully escaped from police officers. The subject then forced entry into residence on the 1800 block of Winona Avenue. So it must be like the street over, same block, but street over, where he fatally shot 2 dogs. Officers then observed the offender fleeing eastbound into a yard on the 1800 block of Home Avenue. So he looks like he went back towards Fuentes. The subject disobeyed the officer's verbal commands to stop and proceeded to shoot at police officers. Berwyn police officers returned fire and fatally struck the subject. No officers were injured during this incident. Early reports indicate that the offender was wanted for a triple homicide committed in Mahomet, Illinois, earlier in the day on December 18th. This incident has been turned over to the Illinois State Police Public Integrity, considered ongoing activation or investigation. Yes, that's basically it.
So everything Nick said in his post is pretty much corroborated in that police report.
Should we play the footage?
Yeah, well, so bring his tweets back up. He also talks about how he has to relocate now. He's got to move.
I didn't get that part of the tweet, but yeah, that was the end of the thread, was him saying now he has to relocate.
He has to relocate. I mean, clearly he does. Too many people know his address at this point. But the thing is, should we just go through all of his stuff and then bring up some of his past things of him encouraging people to dox people? Because like that's the irony of this whole thing. So let's play the video.
I have not listened to the audio, so if there
he just
is
says "Yo, Nick," I don't think there's any cursing.
If there is, I apologize. But so first off, I've been looking at this video, trying to figure out what yeah. So what you see him put down there, that is a little handheld crossbow. Honestly, that thing probably I wouldn't be too worried about that, but I can't figure out what type of gun he's holding. I really don't know. It almost looks like a compressed air sort of pistol, or worst case, like maybe it's a 22, like a Ruger. Someone in our Telegram suggested maybe a Ruger Mark IV with, like, I don't know, some little ring attachment on the back. It's just very weird, but anyways.
Yeah, I don't know guns that well, so I have to go by your word, like I can't, for me to sit there and say, yeah, it looks like a gun, I'd be talking out like, you know what? So
yeah, I really don't know.
I mean, he's clearly armed.
Yes.
And he killed 2 dogs with whatever gun that is.
Right. And so I haven't looked too much into it, but nothing I've seen says how he killed the 3 other people. I think his family, whether it was with that gun or something else. But
now, did he take his own life or did the cops kill him?
The cops, it sounds like the cop shot.
Okay.
So whatever he was shooting at them with, they felt was real enough to justify.
I mean, but even if he raised that thing up,
right,
it's justified. Because there's no red big thing in the front of it,
I mean, so that's I think there's a longer version out there, but
yeah, there's a longer version where he actually yells "Yo, Nick," like he's knocking on the door and he yells "Yo, Nick."
Yeah, and I think that was only like 30 seconds longer.
So, so Nick talks about how he has to leave. Now, the crazy thing is, I've seen the Groypers dox people, man, and they do it heartlessly. They do it without any mercy. They think it's the funniest thing in the world to go and expose somebody's personal info. I mean, look, we did this even with what's her name, the religious hippie. It's like people's families got to be off limits, and especially the Groypers are. Like they're out there representing the Catholic label, like they try to, right? They all, most of them are Pope splainers and stuff, and they're out there saying that they're, in their behavior, absolutely, right? They act like they are BLM activists when it comes to this stuff. So, like I've seen clips of Nick where I think Nick is hilarious. I think some of his takes are funny. I've always had like a soft spot for him. I think he is a funny guy. I think the behavior of the Groypers is reprehensible at times. And then this last week making jokes about like
raping 14-year-olds.
Yeah, essentially like abusing children and people's daughters. Then they did that thing to Luigi where they found his wife's Instagram, and his wife's Instagram is pretty innocent. It wasn't even like, and the things they were saying about his wife, I'm just like, if somebody did that to me, like, so that's the thing. I don't know what Nick actually denounces, and I saw these kids actually bragging on there going, until Nick tells us to back down.
Yeah, people like Pine Sap, Wagner, Classical Theist would be like, guys, this isn't how Catholics act. And yeah, exactly what you said. A lot of Groyper said, until Nick tells me to stop, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not okay to go after people's families, man. It's just not. Like, you can't just go after a guy's wife because she has a skirt on that comes above her knee. It's like, this is not behavior. Like, it's just awful behavior, When they went after the religious hippie's husband, same thing. Like, I mean, look, part of it is you're putting your family out there. You gotta understand some blowback is going to come your way from it, but there's also just the viciousness of anonymity. Like a lot of these guys are just the frog PFP and something Groiper in their name, and they will do the most heinous things, and they will dox people. Yeah. And Rob, you have something of Nick actually telling people to dox someone, right?
Yep. And I know what his defenders are going to say about this clip, but let's play it anyways. It's
is that cursing in it? Because it is Nick.
I would have, yeah, it's gonna be brash. Probably cursing. I'm gonna try to get to, we'll see. Let's just try here.
I don't care what they.
Well, he has got the worst audio in the world. You ever notice that?
It's worse than me. And I have the worst setup.
Do in their personal lives. As long as they're here to dox hillbilly, as long as they are soldiers. Look,
he's basically saying he doesn't care if if Groipers are gay as long as they dox more or less normie Republicans, which he calls hillbillies. But I
don't care how gay they are. As long as they're my loyal cult members that give me money, dox hillbillies when I give the command. As long as my gay followers are exceptionally loyal cultists who will give me money and dox hillbillies when I say so, and they will destroy Wignats.
All right.
I'm so effing sick of people going, it's obvious irony. Oh, it's just a joke. Shut the F up. Like, seriously, I am so sick
I think it's funny, though. That's the thing. But it's not funny. If he's actually telling them to dox people, like, it's not funny. But, like, I do see why people find him funny. It's just, I see why people find him funny. That's all.
What's funny is the whole gay thing probably isn't even a joke. That's probably just true.
Yeah, I shouldn't be laughing, but the thing is,
well, let's go back to the last part of his tweet here.
Yeah.
According to him, doxing is not a game. Hear that, guys? It's not a game. It's not a joke.
Yeah, well, it's never a joke when the mob comes for you.
Honestly, who is more of a nihilistic lynch mob than the freaking Groipers? You could not pick three better words to describe Groipers: the nihilistic lynch mob.
The thing is, things are always funny when they happen to other people, and then when they happen to you, it's not funny anymore. It's just
he jokes about people being gay all the time, but yet someone says, "Oh, that looks like him in a video with Destiny," and oh my gosh, that's calumny now.
It's just the way it is. But look, the thing is, nobody should ever, like, it's I know, I remember I'm so caught because I have a very dark sense of humor, and I don't think I should be laughing at this stuff. All right, Bobby, let's see. These time zone changes and 42 hours of driving screwed me up just doing that. Bobby made it to Arizona safely, thank God.
Good.
He had a little accident on the way. His brother's hood snapped up and like smashed the windshield of the car. He didn't have an easy ride down, but he did get there safely. I'm happy for that. Yeah, it's just, look, part of me likes to defend him because I do think things are so ridiculous that you have to just poke fun at them and make fun of them. But I never found doxing funny. I just never did. I always thought it was over the line, and people get hurt doing it. Irony poisoning is the weapon of the effeminate. It allows them to escape responsibility for their opinions. Yeah, but there is an aspect of humor in poking at the thing you're not supposed to poke at. So originally, I thought some of the people of the Old Testament humor was funny because it was so risque and like nobody else was doing it. Then some of the racial humor he had, I thought was really funny because it was stuff like, it was just obvious humor. But then once it becomes like mainstream, like I was watching a video today, Myron from Fresh and Fit, raging about how the Jews brought degeneracy, and he's like, that, they brought their pornography, and and the guy hosts a podcast that is literally degeneracy having OnlyFans girls on. It's like, dude, you're actually going to criticize them when you're doing the exact same thing. Like, I don't understand the mental disconnect in guys that do stuff like that. It's bizarre to me.
It's kind of the new, like you said, now it's kind of the risque in thing.
Yeah, it's becoming trendy to just talk about them, you know. So like that makes me want to not talk about them. Like it's one thing to know, okay, like you have to be careful about certain things that are going on and not be naive to think this is, you know, I don't want to be a neocon, but there's another thing to just jump on the bandwagon because everybody else is talking about it and like it's the in thing to do. It almost becomes cliche and boring at that point. Saint Alphonsus would not find Nick's foul mouth funny. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, well, so with the whole irony thing, like, what happened to let your yes be yes and your no be no? Like, why can you not just say what you mean?
I don't know, man, because I'm very sarcastic too, right?
Right, but it's not literally everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite about things. Like, I'm very sarcastic a lot of the time.
Well, you know how sarcastic I am on this show. 3/4 of what I say is just ripping into you most of the time.
Well, the thing is, people get it's funny in some contexts, but like it can go overboard. I have gotten people mad at me because of my sarcasm. I'm always trying to make the joke. I'm always trying to be funny. I mean, even when we were doing the name thing, like I posted that clip, like when I went back and listened to the clip of the name thing, it's like, you're going to name your daughter that. And I'm like, no, don't name your kid. It's like, what if you choose that name? Like, it was just mean, you know?
That name is literally on our list, by the way.
No, of course it is. But I was just going for the joke. Like, I was just going for the joke of it. But Groyperism basically spreads organized naturalism, which is the main error of Judeo-Masonry. I have to think about that for a second. Groyperism spreads Kennedy, why are you going to try and go and be all smart on me? Organized naturalism, which is the main error of Judeo-Masonry. All right. Kennedy's supposed to come on. I talked to him today. I called him. And I'm like, when are you coming on? He's like, well, you know, I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, when are you coming on? Like, stop it.
Well, just tell him we'll talk about his book and he'll come on.
I told him, don't show his book until he comes on.
Okay, sorry, we'll cut that out.
Don't show his book until he comes on.
I'll edit that out. No problem.
Yeah, so I think, all right, so here's my hope for this. I'm hoping the Groypers see this, realize that
a wake-up call?
Yeah, like a bit of a wake-up call. Like, there's something seriously unfunny about exposing somebody's personal life in the age of the internet. There are mentally ill people out there. Mm-hmm. The first one started off, it was a light little thing. This crazy older woman with blue hair went to his house and Nick had to go out and pepper spray her. It starts off silly and then it winds up being somebody shows up with a freaking crossbow and a gun. Like, that's not funny. You know, there's nothing humorous about that. This guy's got to literally move up, like pack up his whole life and move now because of it. There has to be a line, and especially us as Catholics, and if we're anonymous on the internet, like there's something very dangerous about being anonymous on the internet. Because when you can say things without any accountability, it is a temptation there to say the most awful thing. And I see it in people I like doing it. Yeah. Like there's a lot of accounts that I like, and because they're anonymous, they'll go and say things they would never say if their name was up on there. You know, that's why I always put my name up there. Like from the beginning, I always had my name, my first name, and my real picture up there. It's good, but it's dangerous. Exactly. It's tempting to, you know, and for me, I know people will be able to find me if they ever, I mean, it'll take you 5 minutes to find out who I am, where I live. I'm probably,
especially when you know, post your address on Twitter.
Posted my address online. But we don't have enemies like that, so it's not that dangerous.
We might after this show.
Maybe. But that's the other thing. Like, we have held back from criticizing Fuentes and the Groypers out of fear that because I've seen what they'll do.
Yeah.
So it's like I've had opinions about criticizing Nick, and I've held back on them maybe when I seen he's gone too far, just because it's like, who the hell wants to deal with the Groypers trying to find out where you live and then going to see if they can access your wife's Instagram account? And like, who wants that? It's just, they're like toxic. That Mexican kid is going to attack Rob after tonight.
There's not many up here, though.
You live in the middle of nowhere. You're all right.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Long Island. There's plenty of kooks on Long Island. So, I mean, Pine Sap too, man. Rob blocked them.
I just, I just didn't need to see everything. He
like, I think he's a good dude, but I also think he is so a cult member. Like, he is
like cult of personality. Yeah.
Cult of personality member with Nick. He's like, I'm a general. I would die for him. Like, he says he'll die for Nick Fuentes. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, I would never want people following me like that. Like, they would, like, are you people sick?
Put a little hat on, Kennedy, and you're like the spitting image. So
it's just crazy to me that anybody would be that. And look, we've seen it when we criticize Vegano once and we get lambasted in the comments. You criticize
Altman,
you get lambasted in the comments. We criticized Fuentes. We lost like 30 followers that day. Like, people take criticism of their favorite personality very personally. And it's never meant personally. Like, you can have a disagreement with somebody. You could, like, the things we said about Vegano were very charitable, I thought. We weren't even saying it like, we just like, all right, maybe he went a little too far with this thing. But if you criticize people's favorite personality, they take it like a deep wound. It's very strange.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody get offended when people brag on us.
That's because we are usually the first ones to do it.
Well, I don't know. For the Groypers, if you guys do catch this, man, I hope you guys see this and say, all right, maybe we need to back off a little bit. We've, especially the last couple of weeks, you guys seem to have gone a little out of control with going after and making awful comments about people's daughters.
You do that to the wrong person, and they'll be the one to find you and show up at your door.
Well, I saw a couple of the Groypers got exposed. Like, they were in group chats saying awful things, and somebody found out who one of them were, and the guy was like, please, man, it was just a joke. Please don't ruin my life. Like, you guys are going on there anonymous. People can figure out who you are, because all it takes is one person who knows you, who thinks what you did is distasteful, and they go and rat you out, and it just becomes a never-ending spiral of people just getting ratted out. It's just it's too much. So I think people need to chill out a little bit. Especially the Groypers, man. You guys gotta chill. You guys are out of your minds.
Maybe I hope, hopefully with age they'll chill out a little.
It's the other thing, they are young, most of them. But all right, so Kennedy's Jewish. We found that out tonight. And all right, so why don't we cover some of the stuff we were going to talk about tonight, because there was some interesting things going on with the bishop. So we actually will cover this a little bit. Edward Penton and Diane Montagna came out with a website. I don't even know if I can pronounce it. Let me see if I can find it. It's Cardinalium Collegi Recenzio. Would that be Recenzio or Recenzio? Yeah, my Latin's not that great. Yeah, so
we're starting with one you didn't even send me,
but the Latin gives it no, it's in there. Oh, it's actually the John Allen article I put in there.
okay.
John Allen
from Edward Penton's website.
Yeah. Is the next Pope speculation inappropriate? Get over it. So let me see.
Wait, so it's not this one?
No, let's go with that one. Okay. Groundbreaking interactive website on the College of Cardinals is launched. Created in response to requests from Cardinals and others, the College of Cardinals report is the first site of its kind offering in-depth profiles on Papa Bile. To help Cardinals know one another better, that is the overriding goal of the College of Cardinals report. There was another one called the Red Top Report. Remember that? Somebody tried launching that a while back. The first interactive online resource of its kind. 40 Cardinals are profiled and in-depth, revealing who they are and where they stand on various issues, along with summary profiles of the remaining 200 plus members of the Sacred College, including 21 who received the Red Hat last week. Working with an international team of Catholic journalists and researchers, both Vatican journalist Diane Montagna The project's executive director and I have endeavored to provide a fact-based and reliably sourced database of information on the large and most diverse college of cardinals in the church's history. Yeah, because there's way more cardinals now than there has ever been. Like
I
don't
think
even know
we're currently over the number we're supposed to have.
Yeah, so I don't even know how the voting is going to work, because that's interesting. I don't know. Is it still just going to be 2/3 majority of whatever number is in there for valid voting cardinals?
I'm not sure. I'd have to read the current rules for or what do they call it?
I don't know. I'm tired too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
All right. These requests have arisen mainly because the cardinals have little knowledge of one another despite our globalized information age. This is partly because Pope Francis has chosen many new cardinals from lesser known periphery locations, but also because since 2014, regular consistories have ceased, leaving the Sacred College with few opportunities to meet. That's a very interesting thing that Francis did. They used to have these consistories where they would get the cardinals together so they would get to meet each other and get to know each other. But Francis, because he sensed there was this Francis fatigue going on, he didn't even want them meeting each other. He doesn't want them all to get to know each other and be able to hobnob and be like, all right, we're gonna have to go in a different direction after this one, you know.
But he basically doesn't want too many cardinals meeting with Burke and Mueller.
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike my 2020 book, The Next Pope, which had a similar premise, what makes this project unique is its interactive nature. For the first time, visitors would be able to profile a complete list of cardinals by various relevant categories, discover the geographical and statistical breakdown of the Sacred College through an interactive map, and be able to consult a user-friendly, color-coded table showing where the cardinals stand on 10 key contemporary issues facing the church today. So, I mean, that's interesting. That's good.
It's probably great for the Cardinals, and I couldn't care less. I don't need to learn about all the Cardinals.
You don't need to, but the Cardinals themselves need to.
Right, yeah.
So what the people who actually want this are the Cardinals, right? Look at what we have going on right now. We have a bishop, a cardinal in Sri Lanka, who is basically
I think he's just an archbishop.
Oh, he's just an archbishop?
Yeah.
So an archbishop in Sri Lanka basically telling all his priests, you are not allowed to have girls.
I know, you're right. Cardinal.
He's a cardinal, right?
Cardinal Ranjith.
Yeah. So you're not allowed to have girl altar boys because the altar server is our greatest source for vocations to the priesthood. And to allow girls to take these positions would be too much of a detriment to our vocations process. Like, we would lose too many. So, all right, yeah, let's see. Dear Reverend Fathers, it has been brought to my knowledge that several parishes in the Archdiocese of Colombo have appointed girls as altar servers. In this context, I wish to reiterate what I stated at the presbyteral meeting held on the 21st of October, that no girls should be invited to serve at the altar. As altar servers in the Archdiocese, it should always be young boys, because this is one of the main sources of vocations to the priesthood in Sri Lanka, and it will affect the number of candidates entering the seminaries, which risk we cannot take. Since females are not allowed to be ordained priests, we have to make that decision. This cannot be changed at your discretion. Please carry out this as faithfully as possible, and do not think it is in your faculty to grant that. So, look, there are so many people that have their daughters as altar servers thinking they're helping the church. It's not all feminist revolutionaries. It's really not. There's a lot of people who it's women running these parishes, and they're just like, oh, yeah, I'll just have my daughter go be an altar server, not actually understanding what the purpose of this position is. It is mainly there to inspire young men to the priesthood, to show them the sacred vessels, to show them the liturgical positions. And
in previous years, it was a minor order.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't ordination, and it wasn't ordination in the sense of like the priesthood as the deacon and priest and bishops are, but it was a minor order.
Yeah.
So women would have been
barred from it.
Yeah, you just can't be ordained.
Yeah, this became a thing under John Paul II, and it is nothing less than transgenderism in the church. and it's everything about the Novus Ordo is like this. It's allowing women lectors. It's like when you start putting women in positions where men are supposed to be, you actually mess with the mind of women and make them think they can be boys. It's transgenderism.
Because Lecter was once again a minor order as well.
So we have this cardinal in Sri Lanka doing this, and then you have Bishop Stowe in America sidestepping the USCCB, who I guess France made it possible for women to be lectors and
acolytes,
yeah. Which is insane.
And
catechists. It's essentially like, I don't know what the big deal is about them asking for women deacons when we essentially have women deacons in the Novus Ordo at this point.
Well, so did we actually talk about the story in Belgium with the diocese administrator, the woman diocese administrator, her name being said along with the bishops in the canon of the Mass?
That is insane.
Like, that is legitimately, yeah.
No, that's not, like, are they even in communion with the church anymore at that point?
I would say no. I mean, you literally you modified the canon, which, I mean, they did after Vatican II anyways, but that's beside the point. They modified the canon and put a woman's name next to the bishop.
That's absurd to me. So yeah, I had a female catechist as a kid too. That's why I don't understand, like, what is this about even? Like, they're already doing all this stuff. But I don't know if they mean like just a regular catechism teacher. Like,
no, they mean like an actual office.
Yeah, there's like a position of catechist that they kind of invented, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have Bishop Stowe doing that, and then you have Cardinal Supich. Cardinal Supich telling people,
we don't let's not forget what else Bishop Stowe has done as far as transgenderism.
Oh, he's the one who ordained that transgender monk.
Yep.
That's under him, right?
I don't think the hermit. I don't think she is ordained, because she's just a hermit.
Hermit.
Unlike
women doing
Father
Mass in Holland already, they use consecrated hosts, and she does the liturgy. Yeah, that's not like that. That's not Catholic anymore. I mean, I don't even know. Look, I don't know what. I'll tell you this: we went to Italy. A majority of the people were receiving on the tongue at the Novus Ordo that we went to. Now, I don't know if they were tourists or no, I don't think so. I think they were Catholics receiving on the tongue. Like, there wasn't a single church I went to while I was there where most of the participants, like most of them, received on the tongue. It was interesting to see because they make such a big deal of it over here.
I think that is probably just cultural, because I know the whole on the hand thing started in like Holland, Belgium, Germany, things like that. So I think Italy is probably, hopefully, just more orthodox in that regard.
Yeah, maybe. Especially if the closer you are to Rome, like when you.
So MB says there's a big movement in Italy of receiving on the tongue.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I was actually pretty surprised by that. The other thing I noticed is the Oran's position during the Our Father, which seems to be an organic development of the sort of liturgy because it's happening everywhere. So
I hate that so much. And that's honestly, like, there are theological reasons I hate it, but even before I knew those, I just don't like people.
This is another joke about Italians being black.
Which is funny because he's supposedly Italian.
He's Northern Italian. He's barely Italian. Barely. He speaks it a little bit, but that's about it. What's up, Joey? What's it called? All right. So yeah. So now, okay. So the whole thing with Supich, right? The idea that kneeling and receiving on the tongue is showmanship. It's so wild to me that they don't even try to understand the opposing view in any way whatsoever. They have it in their mind that every single person that goes up and kneels to receive is doing it as a virtue signal. Like, that's just what they see it in their mind as. They don't see it as an act of humility in any way whatsoever.
That's because they have no understanding of Eucharistic piety or reverence because they have none of it themselves. They can't understand how someone would actually believe that that's God and would want to kneel for God.
Yeah. Yeah, there was actually I remember that I went to a Latin mass at Holy Innocents once, and there was like an older woman who didn't want to turn her back to the tabernacle. So like as she was up towards the altar, she walked backwards to her pew. And I thought it was a beautiful thing. It's like something like, because it's something you would see in a show about like the king in the Middle Ages, where you wouldn't turn your back on the king, so you left his presence facing him. And I thought it was just like a little beautiful little thing of piety. And I mentioned it on Twitter, and everybody went nuts saying this is just her showboating and it's just this virtue signal. And it's like, I don't think it was. I really do think she was just trying to be a pious Catholic.
When I am in like small like adoration chapels where the Eucharist is exposed, I'll do the same, or at least try to.
Well, during adoration, I can totally understand.
In a the sanctuary of a church is a little difficult just because I'm not coordinated enough to walk backwards 200 feet in a straight line usually.
So me and Mary Teresa saw 3 Eucharistic miracles in Italy. Now, one of them when you went to it, it actually had, it was the Carlo Acutis exhibit. The Carlo Acutis exhibit had a list of all the different Eucharistic miracles, and one of them is the Buenos Aires miracle. And the Buenos Aires Eucharistic miracle is actually amazing. There's a documentary on it. I forgot who did it. I wish I had the link to it.
Not Carlo. He was gone.
No, it wasn't Carlo. It was, so there's a documentary on it by, if I remember it, I'll tell you. So anyway, but Buenos Aires, it was Bergoglio was the bishop there when it happened, and he didn't want to get it tested.
Yeah,
like he fought getting it tested, and eventually he had like no choice. There was so much pressure on him, and he finally agreed to it. And when they tested it, it was like every single, like it was not just heart tissue, it was a very specific part of the heart that like brings life.
Was that in the
90s? Yeah, I think so. And it's one of my favorite ones to look at because it's so recent and it's so thorough in the scientific investigation they did. I'm not sure that, I don't know, but I know he fought it. Like he didn't want it to be seen. So yeah, that was one of the Saint. No, blessed Carlo Acutis. He's not saint yet.
He's not canonized.
He's not canonized yet. He's still blessed. We saw Carlo's body, and a few of the women really had an emotional experience with it. But
well, you saw the wax, anyways.
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yes. I don't know why you don't like that boy. He's a good boy.
Everyone's got to understand at this point I'm digging my heels in because of everyone.
I know. He is wearing a tracksuit in the class.
Which is funny because
showcase.
He wore a suit to mass all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very pious boy. So the idea, for Supich, the idea of communion to him is about the communion with the fellow believers, and he has this communal theology that he's trying to get through. And to him, it's not about God; it's about the meal, and it's about sharing the meal with your brothers and sisters. And it's not actually about the proper worship of God. It's not about the sacrifice of the Son to the Father. No. It's insane.
Right. What I found incredibly ironic is in his letter or whatever, he talked about how it interrupts the Eucharistic procession up to the altar. And that's funny because I seem to recall making a thumbnail for a video we did where I made Supich the little soup Nazi guy from Seinfeld, because he wasn't allowing the Eucharistic procession for the Eucharistic Congress, right? He didn't allow it to go through Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's why Anthony likes some Italians in tracksuits. Wait, this is actually interesting. The sad thing about the Acutis thing is that he was a great kid and loved Jesus, but he's been turned into St. Francis. I bet he'd be upset with what has happened. Yeah, the tour guide we had through Italy, I told you he was like one of my favorite tour guides, this guy Alessandro. And when I tell you, this guy loved St. Francis, and he kept comparing Carlo Acutis to St. Francis. And I kind of rolled my eyes when he would do it. You know, it was like a little bit of that. But yeah, they are trying to turn Carlo Acutis into St. Francis, as if he like abandoned his life and wealth and went off on his own. You know, he's not quite that, but he was a very pious kid.
His family is actually, and maybe Kennedy knows this better than I, but his family's rather wealthy, aren't they?
I'm sure, but the irony is that his mother wasn't even Catholic before, right? So like he wasn't raised Catholic. He had a conversion. Like the kid had a deep devotion to his Catholic faith. Like I'm not gonna take that from him.
No, not at all.
He definitely suffered well. Like he was joyful through his suffering. And there's parts of that where you have to. It's just things that like all the canonizations in the Novus Ordo are questioned at this point, because you just had Francis canonize those 11 nuns from the French Revolution. Well, he's going to, right? He's going to, and that is such a beautiful thing. Like these women sang hymns as they went to the guillotine. Like that is the definition of a martyr.
I forget who it was from, but I saw the perfect tweet today where it was, martyred by guillotine, wait 200 years to become a saint. Make a nice website, wait 20 years. Now, obviously, that's not the full story, but for Carlo.
But, but there also were 2 miracles attributed to Carlo. So
one of them I hear, and I haven't looked into it, but one of them I hear is really questionable.
Okay. Hey, Anthony, nice to see you back. Our bishop, via a delegate, recently called our priest and told him to stop celebrating Mass ad orientem. It's like one of the saddest things that about going to Italy was seeing the Novus Ordo celebrated at these beautiful churches, man. It just didn't fit, and it was sadly our only option, because a bunch of the guys had woke up at like 5:30 one morning and they took an Uber and they went to an FSSP parish and they went to a Latin Mass while we were there. I was too hungover and I didn't get up, but I commend those gentlemen for doing that. This while we were in Rome. It's just sad about the whole canon. Like all the canonizations get questioned because they took away the devil's advocate and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't know, man. I still feel like if the church makes a declaration on something like that, it's like there's an aspect of infallibility to declaring a saint.
Potentially, yeah.
Like they actually say it in the canonization process, like we infallibly declare. But you're holding a person up as a model. Like you're holding this person up, you're raising them to the altars because their life is something you should emulate,
Right.
So it really should be scrutinized, and it should be this person lived an extraordinary life. It can't just be, it was like a relatively pious person. It's gotta be something more to it.
Right, because there is, or there should be, a difference between a saint in heaven and a saint, a canonized saint.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Bishop Stowe, Supage. Then you have Cardinal Burke. Just everybody. Well, did you want to play that video of the freaking crazy Guadalupe thing? Because I had people telling me play that video. I want to get to the bottom of this. I had somebody telling me they've been doing this since the days of Guadalupe. Kennedy, I know you have a devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Can you tell me if this is something that's been going on since the days of the apparition, or if this is some crazy syncretistic Novus Ordo nonsense? The canonization process is not infallible. The declaration of them being in heaven is not the same thing as the process to investigate whether they demonstrated heroic virtue. Well, yeah, so if they declare them, if they canonize them, that means they are in heaven. But it doesn't necessarily mean, like Saint Pope Paul VI, like I don't think anybody should emulate their life on his life. Like it's not, he didn't live a life of heroic virtue. He may be in heaven. He died with all the sacraments. Right, you imagine,
right, and had
probably made a final confession,
Catholics praying for him, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm sure he went
many
to
masses offered for him. Probably got the apostolic pardon,
right? Yeah,
I'm sure he's in heaven.
But other than being Pope, like if he wasn't Pope, Would anyone know who he was?
No. Having grown up in Italy, I can tell you Carlo is a good model for the boys. I'm sure. All right. Yeah. So what is Kennedy? Tell me. Is this
Kennedy's trying? YouTube is censoring him.
What do you mean?
Well, so this is what he says. The Mexico thing is ecumenical. What's the Italian word that Francis used?
Francione?
Yes.
This faggotry?
Yes, that's what. Yep.
All right. So yeah, like, what is this? Is this just syncretism? Is this like, what is this?
Well, first off, notice the female Ultra Boy on the right.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, Frociagine. Oh,
Really? Well, okay, first off, he looks like a white Viking more than a. Look at him. He doesn't even look native.
I said, like, I spend my whole day trying to convince Protestants we're not pagans, and then they go and do this nonsense. And it's like, how do you defend this?
He doesn't even look native. I don't know.
It's just
what is it supposed to be?
It's just stupid. So he looked like he was about to light his friend on fire.
Man, it would have been amazing. It would have been amazing.
Yeah, exactly. How long until they're pulling hearts out again, right? Like
so yeah, what culture was he supposed to be exhibiting? Aztec? I mean, are we talking about the Aztec culture that would slaughter 80,000 people on a day? Or Mayan, which wasn't in existence for 500 years prior to the arrival of Catholicism? Like,
you said Notre Dame Cathedral is
older than the Aztec civilization.
Is it really? I didn't know
200 years.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's really interesting to me.
So the Aztec civilization.
Kalima. Was that from Indiana Jones?
Yeah, the Aztec civilization had only been around for 100 or 200 years prior to the arrival of the conquistadors. Like, it was new, and it was an empire that had just recently arrived and recently conquered all the peoples around them. So yeah, I don't know why we would ever.
I didn't know that. That's so. When was Notre Dame actually first started?
I think in the 1100s. Let me look.
And you're saying the Aztecs were like what, the 1400s or something? 1400s?
So Notre Dame construction started 1163. And it was finished 1345.
That's so crazy to me. And the Aztecs, when were they?
1325.
Okay, so it's around this time. So we started it 200 years before the Aztecs, and Notre Dame is being finished around the same time. So
why would we want to emulate a culture that was still ripping hearts out of people while we were building the greatest architectural wonders in the history of the world?
Like, this is all right. So wait, two things. Our Lady helped bring Christendom to South and Central America and conquer whatever culture that was. Yeah, it seems like rebellion. It seems like you're trying to revive the thing that Our Lady helped conquer.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen Young says, Apocalypto wasn't intended to be a mass rubric.
That is funny. The Apocalypto, right?
The Aztecs were preceded by another culture that
the Aztecs didn't build any of their stuff.
I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, so they just basically settled upon a thing that was already there, which has happened many times throughout. Like when you go see these, even they say even the Egyptian pyramids may have been built. Like me and Michael Hitchborn are convinced they were built before the flood.
We so I know I make fun of you for the whole not Hitchborn. Graham Hancock stuff, but we should do a show or two on that new season just for fun.
I think so. Well, this season was pretty boring.
Was it?
I didn't even. Yeah,
but it had Keanu in it. an episode, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like quick, and it was like the first season was riveting because he was taking you all over to these different monoliths throughout the world. The second season is just South America, and it's stuff they didn't even dig up. It's like they're seeing. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. They're seeing stuff from like aerial views. That there's definitely ruins, but they're not like dug up. They would need to raise money to go and dig these ruins up and stuff. It's just so. I mean, but it's more proof that there was a civilization before an ancient apocalypse. Like there was. I mean, I just think it's the flood. I think it's the biblical flood. It was worldwide. There was a civilization before that. And all of these things were from before that flood. And then after the flood, civilization starts to pop back up. The people don't exactly know where they came from. Ancient apocalypse. Like they don't know where these things came from. And a new civilization kind of stumbles upon them and they don't know what to do with them. And they form a new religion around these things thinking like, what are these things, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very similar to when we visited the Grand Canyon and then we visited not Sedona. Did you ever see?
Oh, are you talking about the settlement, the cliff?
Let me see. I'm going to send these pictures to you. Hold on.
Stephen Young says Anthony is morphing into Billy Carson before our eyes.
Who's Billy Carson? What's that?
Really? You don't know Billy Carson?
No. These things.
Oh,
okay.
Not okay. So he is not who I thought he was. He's he's African like you. He's written a lot of like crazy ancient alien books. It looks like.
I'm sending you a couple of pictures because this is. I went to this. Bobby's down in Arizona. He should go there. Okay, I just sent you a couple of pictures. Like, bring these pictures up. Like this place, right? When me and my wife went here, you ever see pictures of this place? Like, yeah. It's like these really bizarre rock formations, right? Like these were sacred places for the Native Americans that lived there because they just couldn't explain them. Like they went there and they thought they had divine qualities to them, you know, like when they saw the Grand Canyon, they thought there was some kind of divinity, like this is where the gods were, you know. It's just they couldn't explain it. So like a religion formed around it, and these were considered like the sacred places. I sent you another picture too, I think. Yeah, like these are just such interesting, cool rock sculptures. And these were considered, you know, sacred places. I don't know. It's just I think these ancient civilizations stumbled upon these megaliths and monoliths, and they just,
I mean,
you know,
this is just from flooding, though.
What, those rock formations?
Those formations, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, Arizona and the Southwest, like Utah, there's some bizarre landscapes there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like Earth in some places. You feel like you're on Mars. It's like it's just very bizarre landscapes, but you know, the natives would go there and there were just these certain places they would go and they were just like, there's something divine about this place. The gods are here, or they thought that was like the origin of life. Sorry, I'm behind, but Oxford University is also older than the Mayan civilization.
The Mayan civilization is like 500 years older than the Aztec. So that's how old Oxford is.
The argument from beauty becomes very compelling when you see places like that. I understand how they could be. Yeah, me too. Me too. When me and my wife went there, we were just like, how did they not think the gods created this place? Like, how could you not? It doesn't look like anything else in the world. Mm-hmm. You have to think God's finger touched it, you know, like, or some divine process happened there. And
what's funny though is
how are you going to choose Timcast over us?
Well, because they want to find out if the Israeli Wire is buying them or not, probably.
Yeah. Billy Carson recently tried to sue Wes Huff for embarrassing him in a debate on apocryphal text, saying Christ was married and wasn't crucified. Oh, wow. What a cornball. I would never say, don't ever say I'm becoming like him. Are you crazy? All right, we're gonna wrap this one up early tonight, guys. Nick couldn't make it tonight. Rob and I figured we'd just jump on with you guys, hang out for a little bit. We all wanted to talk about Fuentes and the bishop stuff. So Monday we have an interesting guest. I really look. It's not going to be one of those.
Like we were reminded.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's definitely read that tweet. I have it right here.
You wanted something that's well.
Yeah, I have it right here. Hang on. I'll send it to you.
I can pull it up here.
You don't need me to send it?
Mm,
I'll send it.
He tweets as often as you do.
Well, I sent it. Okay, so okay, a lot of people. Okay, so it starts off where you see, if you guys had seen, there's a video of a girl who's really upset because her boyfriend told her he wanted to move to Texas. So she quit her job, went down to Texas, gave up her career for him, lived down there, spent all the money in her bank account to help him get his life set up, thought she was going to marry the guy, and the guy just bailed. And he goes, I want to break up. So she's left stranded and she had to move back in with her mom and all this stuff. So somebody wrote, everyone rightly feels bad for this girl. We all sense that if she moves across the country with her man, he's effectively her husband, but he's reluctant to actually marry her. Why? Because in our society, relationships go from woman is married to a man while the man isn't married to her, to man is married to a woman while the woman isn't married to him when there's a wedding. So in other words, when they're dating, the man doesn't want to be married, but she's essentially married to him. And then once they get married, the woman loses interest. And it's basically what Tim Gordon's always talking about, right? Where they show like the hot girl that's not married. And then once a girl's married, she gains a bunch of weight and she kind of lets herself go. And she doesn't really care about the husband anymore. And he's like, why did I marry you? So that's like the general trend. So our friend Shagbark,
Hickman
said, a lot of people may not realize that this goes the other way sometimes too. I joined the military for my ex. I had built her a cabin on my family's land, and at the end of the winter, she pretty clearly implied I ought to get a job. But with no work history for 5+ years, no one would hire me for anything serious, so I called the Coast Guard and enlisted. She waved as I took the bus to the airport from MEPs to go to boot camp. She was at my boot camp graduation. She and I drove up to Michigan when I reported to my first unit, but she wouldn't move in with me there, nor would she marry me because she didn't want to be a military wife. I had assumed I wouldn't be alone in my enlistment, but I was. What followed was an agonizing multi-year on and off long distance relationship. I was never the one to break up with her. Whenever we did break up, I began to obsess about PCSing. What is that?
Permanent change of station, I think.
Permanent change of station to the right place, because she'd say things like, if you get sent to the Northeast, maybe we can get married, but if you go to Alaska, you'll never see me. And later, I'd be confined from the outside world for 11 months during COVID. Later, they let me out for a weekend, and she happened to be on a road trip nearby. I got her pregnant by accident. We started talking about marriage, baby names, how I'd re-enlist, the sort of baby cradle I'd build for our baby. I called her mom and assured her that her daughter and granddaughter were safe with me. We both teared up. It was beautiful. I was excited. I was ready for this. And as far as I could tell, so was she. After all, we've been mostly together for 3 years. Then she called me and said, it is finished. She aborted the baby. I dissociated and descended into a suicidal period of depression. I sincerely believe that the hand of God was the only thing that kept me from actually ending my own life. That was when I found Orthodoxy and later found Catholicism and started praying daily rosaries at the shrine to the unborn, and my life would completely change. Still, I would never be the same again. I am still altered from who I was before this all happened. You never get back to normal after something like that. Mentally, I'd been married to her. I would have done anything for her, would have tolerated and endured literally anything. Instead, she dragged my heart across the pavement and killed our baby. It takes two to tango. I had some culpability in everything that happened. I should have listened to my friends who advised me that I was in a bad situation. But when you're in love and sinning by having sex outside of wedlock, you can't reason clearly. I will never get back what I lost in that situation, but I thank God that he has healed me and renewed my life in the years between then and now. I thank God I met my wife, who is ever faithful and loving to me and will stick by me no matter what. I share this story solely for the young men out there who might be in a similar situation. Do yourself a favor. Do not have sex out of wedlock. Avoid secular women and women who espouse modern views on relationships and dating. No matter how lonesome you are, no matter how randy you feel, you are better off being completely chaste than living through something like this. Oh, and don't join the military for a girl. Just don't do it. If you join for you. Now, his wife was just on with Pearl.
Yep.
And had an interview with Pearl. I'm going to try and catch that interview and listen to that before we have him on, because I'd like to see a little bit of his wife's point of view. I'm very interested to hear this guy's story. He lives a very interesting, unique life. The guy's like off grid. He wants to live a very simple life. He wants to just have like a 600 square foot house with a wood burning stove and just be able to write for a living. So
yeah.
Nick's probably a large. I'm an XL. Rob's probably a 2X, right?
3X.
Right?
Working.
I'm an XL. XL fits me.
Wow.
Well, she went on with Pearl to argue with Pearl, like to debate her, not to agree with her. She went on there to say, Pearl, you have some good points, but like there's some things that she disagrees with. So yeah, so it's he seems like an interesting guy, and sometimes you just have to do an interesting interview even if nobody watches it, just because the people that watch our show is they'll enjoy it. Like if you like us, you'll like this one. So
and what's funny is like the shows that get views aren't the shows that get subscribers.
That's true.
Is what we found out, surprisingly. So
this is a reference. I know what Marco's talking about. I feel awful for this guy, even though I have disagreements with him on other posts. Let's just say I'm a creature of comfort. I think this is because he was talking the other day about finding a Latin mass, and he's having a hard time finding a Latin mass where he wants to live, and he was discussing whether he should just find a reverent Novus Ordo and try to make the community more reverent. And my position on that is it's not worth risking your children's faith if you have the option. Like,
I think
you haven't settled anywhere.
And I could be wrong, but I think what Marco was really talking about there is the post he said about like, don't marry a woman who wouldn't eat roadkill with you if you had to.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like Me, Myself, and Irene. You said you'd eat whale blubber. You ever seen Me, Myself, and Irene? I can't recommend.
Oh yeah. See, I was right.
His wife cheats on him.
He basically said, "Don't marry a woman who isn't willing to be homeless with you."
Yeah, well, Margot, I'm being honest.
That is true.
If you lose everything, your chick's got to go with you no matter where you go.
Richer or poorer.
Richer or poorer. Once you say I do, your wife's got to be willing to eat whale blubber and be homeless. If it comes to that, like you hope it doesn't, but if it comes to that, there's no I'm gonna go live with my mom while you stick it out. Like you guys are in it as a family or a unit and you stick together. So All right, boys and girls, we are going to wrap this one up. I'm sorry there's no local show tonight. We will do locals on Monday. It's just my first week back. I'm still got a little jet lag, so we'll see you guys Monday night. And if you don't join us, everybody have a Merry Christmas. May the grace of the one true God, may the grace of the one true God, Jesus Christ, bring grace upon your home at the detriment of the false religions, lest you be gay.
And for the Advent meditations for Saturday and Sunday, they may be done from a hotel room. We'll see.
That's okay. Right. Let me tell you something. Somebody sent a message to Rob the other day about those. So they don't get big views, but every once in a while, it happens every Advent and every Lent. Yeah. Somebody it touches their heart and they send you a really heartfelt thing, just thanking you for the hard work you put in. So for the few of you who do watch those,
it's always like about halfway through when you're like, only 80 people see these things. Yeah. They I don't want to like guilt people, but like they suck to do early at 5 a.m. in the morning, like,
yeah.
But then you get a message like that and you're like, holy crap, I helped someone go to confession. Like,
yeah,
well,
that's like life changing,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Like, when you get those messages, like, all right, so what we're doing is still for the kingdom, so all right, guys, we'll see you guys on Monday. Rob, adios, my brother.
Yep. Have a good night, everyone.